So I think this is going to be a very, very useful tutorial, and I'm actually surprised that there's not a lot of people asking this question online because it's very useful. So what we're trying to do here is, let's say you have a subpanel like so. When you click on the select button, it shows you a number of results that you can relate to this parent module. You want to be able to control the records that appear here. So how do you do it? So actually it took me more than a day to figure out, so hopefully it's going to save you some time as well. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to override the top select button. So I'm going to briefly explain it since you're not aware. There's other tutorials that explain it, but inside your parent module, so this is the parent module that has this child subpanel module in it, you're going to have a definition file for that subpanel, which basically provides metadata about this specific subpanel, right? So what you would do is essentially copy the file from the location, which would be, I'm sorry, not copy, but access the file, which would be inside the following location. So it's going to be in custom extension modules, the name of the parent module, extension, layout defs, and then the name of the sub panel. And then here you're going to have a widget class for the top buttons. So these guys here, these are top buttons. You're going to take a look at the definition that is marked here. And in my case, what I'm going to do, this is what it looked like before. I'm going to create a custom widget class for this button. I'm going to extend the original widget class, and then I'm going to perform a bunch of magic. So what we're trying to do essentially is when we click on that select button, a pop-up window comes up. That pop-up window has a number of parameters in the URL, right? So by controlling these parameters here, you can filter the results that appear here. So let's go back. To do the overriding of the button, what you're going to do is you're going to copy it from the location which is include generic sugar widgets. You're going to look for the original button here. So it's going to be prefixed with sugar widget. So in this case, we're looking for sugar widget, subpanel top select button. So sugar widget, subpanel top select button here. You're going to copy the button, and then you're going to paste it to the following location, which is custom include generic sugar widgets. So it's almost like the same location, but you're putting custom. So you're basically creating a new button class, which is upgrade safe. So here what we need to do is we need to replace the original class name. Originally it was sugar widget subpanel top select button. We're going to add that I guess custom part of the widget class, because like my name needs to be unique. So what I'm going to do is so my name needs to be unique. Not to complicate this, I'm just taking this and I'm putting it here, okay, not to confuse you. So this is going to match what is here. Don't forget the sugar widget or it's not going to work. And then essentially what we're doing is we're extending the sugar widget subpanel top select button here. So I'm going to tell you how to do it, and then I'm going to explain, if you want to stick around for the rest of the video, like how it normally should be done and why it's not happening if you do it normally through the metadata file. So this is the second part of the video, but you can ignore it if you're not interested, but it's for those that like must know what's happening in the engine. So here we have the initial filter. So it's defined here, the initial filter. So the initial filter, what you would do is you would basically override it like so. So in my case, what I'm trying to do is I want to show only the records that have the parent project IDC field of parent ID. So parent ID is something that I pull using a custom function that I have here. So that stuff doesn't matter, but it's just showing you an example. So notice the syntax here. It's not just parent project IDC, it has the underscore advanced after it. So you may have to do it or may not have to do it. So this is something that really threw me off, but just keep this in mind. You may have to put underscore advanced. So this is going to be your initial filter, basically. So this is the syntax to keep in mind. And that's it. So what happens is that when we click on that select button, it's going to append, it's going to include this as a URL parameter. So if we take a look at it, so click select, boom, we can see that it added it here at the very top. And what it's doing now, it's filtering the results here based on that parameter here. And basically that's it, you're done. So if you want to know more about the way that it actually, like normally how it should work and like why it's not working, I'm going to explain why it's not working, is that inside your custom metadata file, normally what you would be doing is putting this. So you would be putting initial filter, I believe that's the syntax, and here you would be putting something like field and then value. I believe that's the syntax. You can look it up. Some fields actually have this as a definition. So what happens is that this gets passed to the class here, and then it gets to the section called initial filter fields. So it's looking for the, okay, initial filter fields. So it would be like so. And then what happens here, it basically performs a check, a verification. So it says, okay, so if this is an array, okay, that's good. So for each of the values that were passed, we're going to look up the value and the alias, and it's going to say if it's set inside the focus bean. So that's what it's checking. So if it's set inside the focus bean and basically it exists and it's not an empty value, then it's going to add the initial filter, and it's going to basically do what I'm doing here manually. The problem with this approach is that the focus bean is the parent module. So I'm not sure why it's set up like that, but the host module is like this module that is hosting this child module. But since we're filtering the child module records, this will not like work out for us basically. So that's why if you're able to figure out with a more clean method and include it like so, good for you. But for me it didn't work because the focus bean, which is like the parent bean, not like the bean responsible for these records here, it simply does not contain the value of this, and I tried multiple times. So anyways, if you want to try to figure it out, go right ahead, but at least my solution works, so you might as well just use that also. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be making more of these in the future. Please do leave a like so I can see that people actually find this useful. And thank you so much and have a great day.